recording is started, and same as per usual, I'll be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
Get into position.
Team, heal up here. You got
Okay,
a lot to
watch
learn.
because we placed health pack when we weren't even down health at all, and then now we don't have it for when we are down health and we need it.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that the team was going to, you know, do a lot of damage on us, so I just placed it.
Yeah. Usually
quit till
the
the
health pack
fight's
is better
done.
placed after damage has been received rather than beforehand. That's not an end all be all, but it typically that's what you want to do. Like I'd say an exception is like if you're going for an ultimate or you know that there's like a bunch of people shooting at you, but you also had a Reinhardt shield as well.
Yeah.
Fall in here. Thank you.
I hear someone.
Turret sighted. You got a lot to learn. Enemy turret destroyed. Thanks.
Oh, make sure you're watching those health bars. We kind of looked away from D.Va when she was 1 HP.
Enemy turret
Yeah.
sighted.
We want to make sure we're finishing off that kill.
Everyone heal up.
I placed a bad one again.
I need healing.
Okay, make sure we're running away from Zarya. This same thing happened last time where Zarya got right up on top of us, high beam energy, damage used by Mercy. Make sure we're running away sooner, right? We want to be getting back to our team. We're running away very slowly. We're only really trying to back up after we're already 30 HP. Right?
Yeah.
If you see that you're at a disadvantage, don't take duels that you're at a disadvantage in, right? A 2v1 is a disadvantage.
Yeah, true.
Right, and it was the same thing last time where we backed up and then we didn't fully back up as well. So make sure you're backing up, you're fully backing up.
Turret sighted.
I do like that you're frequently taking high grounds, that's good.
Yeah. I noticed how important high ground actually is. And also, I feel like it helps hitting headshots.
Hello. Understood.
I have no medal on damage.
Hey.
I
guess it doesn't really matter.
Not a major concern. Usually it's nice to have it, but typically just winning the game is a much higher priority, and having a medals in particular aren't the most fantastic measures of performance. Usually I'd say a better measure of performance for DPS is kill death ratio.
Yeah.
So your KD to measure that out.
I'm lagging a little, I think, connection-wise.
Okay.
Tag him and bag him. Resistance neutralized. Hello.
Seconds remaining.
Victory is our destiny. We must all play.
Oh, that Moira.
You thanks.
That gets my stamp of approval.
10 seconds remaining.
Pull it together, team. We got this.
That Hanzo is probably targeting me.
Thank you.
Alright. Overall, very solid game. Main two mistakes that game were just the deaths that we had were probably very easily preventable. Helix usage, very solid. Health pack usage needs a little bit more work. Besides that, like that we were on high grounds very frequently. When we were on that top left high ground, there are a lot of times where we would wrap around to the far left rather than going through the tunnels. So if you're picturing the top left high ground, there's like kind of two tunnels, right? There's the far left tunnel, and then there's kind of the straight tunnel that goes forwards. A lot of times we would go for the far left, which is just gonna take a lot longer. Really, you'd only ever want to take that longer path if you're sure that there's a lot of people who are coming over there that can contest you, or I guess maybe like a closer ranged character, like if you're fighting against like a Reaper or something like that. But then if it's a lot of characters that are coming up there, you might not even want to go and contest them anyways. You might want to just let them up. So in a lot of cases, just going down the shorter path would be better, but not in all cases. But yeah, we just ended up taking the longer path a lot there. So overall, good game though.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. That that game went a little too easy, except for those mistakes.
Yep.
Um, I was actually thinking maybe it's better to flank so that they probably don't see me, but I mean, like they could probably hear me anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, you being over on the side, the point is that like if whoever you're shooting at, right, whether they be, because they're always gonna be in that same tunnel area, right? Whether you're going all the way around or you're going just straight down the path, they're always gonna be in the same spot. And that going on that flank doesn't change. It just changes your speed of getting to them. It doesn't actually change how easy it is for them to see you, I guess, right? Or hear you coming or anything like that. So in any case, it's just unless you're, yeah. So it's like it's really you would just want to go for the faster option unless there's something else that's stopping you, like there's a bunch of them, or it's a close range character, or they're like right on top of you there. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I see.
Would you like to go over a replay while you're in queue again?
Yeah, I can actually find one. Try find one. Um, um, I don't know which one to choose though. Uh, let's just do the last one that I won.
Sure.
Generating code. There we go.
Okay, let me get that one moment. Okay, and then let me know when you're in a game here. I am streaming though.
Yeah.
I believe this is just the last game you just played.
You sure?
Yes, this is just the game that you just were in like a second ago, I believe.
Are you sure?
Well, maybe it's
It's
possibly
not
it's not.
actually.
No, I guess it's not. It's just another one that you full hold first point on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty funny. It's just the same map, except for. Alright, let's see.
We'll see if the hypotheses are
Defend the objective.
Okay. It might just
You
be a
could
lot
find
of some
another
stuff.
map if that's better.
Well, this doesn't seem like it's a great game to review. So as reminders here, because on what makes up a good game to review, you want games that are close. You want games that's not a roll on either side. Here you full hold, so it's definitely a roll on your side. So it's not, that means that you're not being forced into many mistakes. You also it's a slight preference for a loss, but you want games where you played averagely, right? Where you didn't absolutely roll. You weren't playing fantastic, you weren't playing terribly, and where the enemy teams or both teams were semi even is games that you're looking for.
Yeah, you can try this one. It's on another map. I don't remember the game though.
Traveling to Havana.
Yeah, so if it's a 5-minute game, that's probably means that it is pretty pretty much a roll. Because the game just ended really fast.
One. Attackers
All right.
incoming. Escort the payload.
Oh, I think that was around where I played very bad as a sniper.
Okay. So if you know that you just played super bad, we could just skip over this, or do you want to skip over the round, or do you want to just go over this still? Anyways.
Yeah, just skip the widow part. I switched to a Kree or soldier, I think, after it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My ultimate is ready.
Get the payload moving.
And then just let me know when you get into a game.
Yeah.
Join me. Get over here and heal up.
Okay. So once again, we're kind of why is it okay? There we go. So once again, we're just kind of placing health pack, just smacking it there. Typically, now it's not in any and all circumstances, but typically you use health pack pretty selfishly. As soldier, you want to use it for your own sustainability. You can drop it for your team, but typically that's reserved for if your team actually needs it. So make sure you're paying attention to health bars and teammates like danger levels. Noting that there's a difference between the two. That's not something we really need to go into, but I can be 1 HP over here and be completely safe, and I can
Yeah.
be full HP and over here and not in danger whatsoever, right? Or sorry, and very much in danger, right?
I got into a game, by the way.
Okay, sounds good. So health pack usage, just make sure you're not just plopping it there for no reason. All right, we'll leave this up in the background, and then we can come back to it between the next game.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, never mind. I can't leave it up in the background because I have to spectate you. All right.
Four. Three. Two. One. Attack commence.
Usually on the start I like to just wait a few seconds before I go out. Just to, you know, not get Hansoed.
Yeah, usually you only need to wait like 1 second or so, just so that the Reinhardt's like an inch in front of you. But you don't need to wait that long, because then you just come out late and you can't do as much damage and whatnot. Very nice.
I heard him, so I was quite prepared. That tracer, though.
Thank you kindly.
Hello? Anyone out there?
I thought I heard somebody.
Okay.
Probably not a good idea.
Last time, did we go over crosshair placement?
Objective A
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay, well then we will review that yeah, after this game is over.
Hey.
On my way. I got a tea time to make.
Don't move.
Oh, that was a bad flash.
Note that you are able to flash over his shield.
Yeah, I know that, but his shield was down, and I was probably a little too late.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't even recall him dropping it at any point. So, yeah, like just looking to go over his shield would be very effective. Here, probably want to be taking a high ground. No reason for us to be on cart at the moment. You never ever need to be. You only ever need one person on cart, ever. Oh,
Draw.
That was a bad one.
yeah, a little bit early in the fight. They had
Hey.
when you do it that early in the fight before the fight even starts, they have all of their abilities still. They're not going to be distracted at all. They can all look at you. You usually want to wait for the fight to start before you're ulting.
Oh my god. I don't see anybody.
In that case, it's probably just better that you maintain the high ground advantage, right?
Yeah, okay. I'll just go to it. It's also an elevator on that side, I just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Move the payload. Don't move.
Oh,
If you're trying to get in close to him to flash him, consider rolling up towards him. Noting that you haven't really been using roll a ton still. I think that was something we talked about last time, but use roll to reload. I haven't seen you do that. Use roll to go in and get closer to people for mobility. If the fight's not happening anywhere near high ground, then yes, drop. Right? If the fight is, you've already capped point and the fight is, and they're all just running away, you definitely want to be dropping from high ground.
Yeah. Oh, they have a widow. I'll watch out for that.
I need healing.
And just grab the health pack.
Much better. Oh there. Much obliged.
Uh-oh, make sure when we're low, we're getting around the corner using cover. And that can help keep us alive in that scenario.
Yeah.
Let's start over at the beginning. Move the payload. Happy trails.
Tranquility.
Move the payload.
Okay.
Oh, that widow's behind.
Make sure you're being aware of your surroundings. Also, make sure you're playing with cover. Like you should really, if you recall, probably hopefully we talked about that last time. But good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Make sure we're playing on cover, or else we're just gonna be able to get sniped like that. Additionally, when you're about to cap, right, you're a second away from capping. Where's the one place the enemy team needs to go?
When?
Yeah, when you're about to cap, where do they need to go?
Dead eyes.
They have to reposition. Either that or they have to wipe you.
No, they have to go and touch point, right? That's what they need to do when you're about to cap, right?
Don't like shooting a lady.
Probably could have saved that, but I mean,
I need a doctor.
Experience tranquility.
Hold up now. Don't move.
Melee can finish him there in that situation.
you can actually melee it.
Secure the
Yes, you can melee through that.
Move it out.
Right. So, to reiterate what I was saying, right? When you're about to cap, the one place that they need to go is go to point, right? Because they need to stop you from capping. So, therefore, as a squishy target, where's the most dangerous place for you to be standing?
On the point.
On the point, right? So probably don't stand on top of point unless it's absolutely necessary for you to. Additionally, you're going to have better visibility over people coming in if you're sitting further back, because then you can shoot at people coming in. Oh, it's at 91% of the match on fire. My goodness. All right. We're going to go over some things here. All right. So last time we went when we did our session, we went over McCree. Was that what we did? The character we went over?
I think it was Soldier actually.
Soldier actually. Okay, so then we'll go over a couple things,
Never
right?
had a chance.
So, crosshair placement, right? Crosshair placement is essentially placing your crosshair in the best place possible to hit the easiest shots, right? It's making it so the shots become easy, and the way that you do that is two main parts. Part one, aiming at head level. If you walk around and you aim at body level, you're more likely to hit body shots. Body shots do basically half the damage that headshots do, right? Headshots do 2 times damage. Okay, so you want to hit headshots, you know, because it does a lot more damage. So therefore, you want to aim at head level, right? And walk around aiming at head level. If we walk around and we're aiming body level, and we just turn the corner, right? We're shooting down a corridor, shooting into shields. We just naturally hit body shots. But when we aim at head level, we shoot and do the exact same stuff. Shoot down a corridor, shoot into shields, shoot into people. Now we just naturally hit headshots. It's just where we're aiming, right? Then additionally, there's also pre-aiming, aiming where you know people are going to be. So bot is top left, We know he's top left, so we're aiming at head level on top left, the doorway, so that as soon as they turn the corner, we already have a crosshair there. Additionally, instead of coming out and doing a slow turn to the side, we want to come out here already looking at head level to the left, so when we turn the corner, we're already aiming at head level, very easy shots to land.
Never had a chance.
These guys are on a little bit more of a slope, so the same way we'd look down on a Torb and up on a tank, we're going to look down on these guys, so that when we turn the corner here, we're already aimed at their heads, and then that leads to easier shots, right, once again. So does that whole concept make sense?
Yeah, it really does.
So, additionally, are you familiar with McCree's air roll tech? Not this. I'm not talking about this. But are you familiar with his air roll tech?
Yeah, roll. That's you can jump and then roll.
Yeah. So the one that allows him, I'm not sure if you're referring to it, but the one that allows him to travel upwards when he rolls, and actually allows him to get to high grounds and the like. So here, let's see if I can pull this off this like that, right?
Wait, what?
Yep. So McCree has that tech, right? If I were to the air roll, right? Unfortunately, tosses you downwards, right? So the normal one that they just added into the game, right? If I jump in midair, I can roll in midair, but watch how it launches me downwards, right? It doesn't
Yeah, I
allow me
see.
to get up to high grounds. As many high grounds. But there's a tech that was in the game before that even came out that allows you to travel kind of upwards as you're rolling. So how you do that is you are going to press your space bar right before you press your roll button. It's basically simultaneously, right? So you're pressing both of them at once, but it's still you still have an order, right? So it's jump and roll one right after the other, right? Really fast, right?
Yeah. Is it like the super jump on Mercy?
Similar, not the same thing. I mean, Mercy you can press them both at the same time. And you press crouch instead. You press crouch. It's a similar idea, but you're pressing jump and then roll one right after the other. And then that launches you upwards, and it also muffles your footsteps. So I'd recommend that. It's a very handy tech to know how to do. Go in a training range and practice it. It took me a couple minutes to figure it out the first time, and then I got very much used to it, and I can now do it like 90% of the time I try. And then as practice, just as you're like walking around, like you're walking back from spawn and you're just rolling for mobility, just practice it, right? Like even if you're walking on the ground. And then another benefit of this is that you actually muffle your footsteps when you roll as well. So that can be helpful as well, even if you're just rolling on the ground. So notice here when I roll, I'm actually kind of rolling through the air, rather than rolling on the ground there. Right.
I pulled it off.
Nice.
This one's on the house.
On Soldier, are you familiar with how to do helix jumps?
Yeah, and I also know that you can start running after you've helix jumped.
Double kill.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yep. Additionally, another tech on Soldier is that if you are reloading, typically what you can do is while you're trying to reload on Soldier, you can keep up the momentum from your sprinting, especially if you're jumping off of something. So it's really easy if I jump off of something, because what I can do is, because notice here, if I'm sprinting and I reload, it just stops my whole sprint and it slows me down really, I'm moving really slowly. But if I were to jump and reload, I keep up that momentum and I can continue to sprint the whole way through. This works on flat footing as well, though not as much because you get less of that, but I can be running around, jump, reload, and then continue to run, so it keeps up like a half a second of that mobility. But it's especially handy, like I said, when you're jumping off of something, where you can just pretty much keep up your whole mobility the whole time. So that's just another handy tech to keep up your mobility and whatnot.
Yeah, I see.
Let's see.
I got into a game, by the way.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm on Junkertown on Defend. I'm considering playing either Kree or Genji. I'm not sure which one is best.
On defense, you said?
Yeah.
Welcome
Typically,
to the jungle.
Genji as a character benefits is usually more effective on attack than defense, because his ultimate, generally speaking, is good for pushes, right? Like he can win fights with his ultimates on attack and push the cart and whatnot. But then when you're on defense, you need consistency, where Genji has just slight advantages when he's in the fights that he has his ultimate. So not to say he's terrible on defense, but usually he's better on attack.
Yeah.
Attackers incoming.
Enemies now.
Stop the payload.
Okay, very out in the open right now. Make sure you're using cover. Probably want to be, yep, closer to the inside so you have somewhere to run away to.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Last time did we talk about flicking?
No, we didn't.
No, because we would have been on soldier, so you don't really flick a ton on soldier. Yeah, so we'll talk about flicking in as well.
Oh, excuse me.
I need healing.
Oh,
Easy.
bruh.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think they made a push. I probably should have gone high ground instead of that
Yep.
room, I think.
High ground would have been a good idea.
Stop the payload.
Yeah. I also may be able to ult now.
Group up.
Maybe not stand where everyone's standing.
I need healing.
Much obliged.
It's
Meteor strike.
Has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, nice.
Probably reposition.
Yep.
Oh.
Little late for that now. Make sure you're backing up sooner. That way you don't stagger yourself.
Oh, there.
That was very much a lost fight. So in a lost fight, last time do you recall us talking about kill feed watching and how you tell whether or not you won or lost?
Yeah, it's basically when you see that one team is killing the other.
Yeah, well, do you recall any of the numbers that we specified?
I'm not sure, but maybe 2 or 3 it's especially lost.
Yeah, well, we can re-go over that after, just give you a refresher on that. But that was definitely a lost fight, so when it's lost, get off you can. If you can't, you let them kill you, right? We just didn't get out when we lost it.
Yeah. Oh, my aim is terrible.
Thank you. Stop the payload. Regen up. Stop the payload.
Okay, they are focusing me.
Огонь по готовности.
Dead eyes ready.
Tactical visor. Let them up.
I probably should wait for a shield before I ult.
Howdy.
Know that you have a health pack right behind you that you haven't been paying attention to.
Oh.
I need healing.
I need a shield before I can ult. Or some kind of cover.
Don't move.
Is it ready? No.
Form up here. Pardon me.
Alright, we're going to talk about a couple different things after this
Hey
game's
there.
over.
Yeah, okay.
This will only hurt for a
looked like you needed some healing.
After you. Much better.
Get in here.
My ultimate's ready.
Immortality field destroyed.
It's time.
That was terrible.
Probably recommend don't like peek a Bob like that, because Bob's just gonna end up shredding you. Additionally, we'll talk about how you can ult effectively after this game is over.
Let's start over at the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't actually pay attention to the Bob. I wouldn't have peeked if I thought of Bob being there, but I didn't somehow.
Hello.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Whoa there. Always was much obliged.
Rip. Think I was a little too much in the open there.
At that point, fight was already lost, so that in that scenario, it would have been a better idea to let them kill, because we couldn't have made it out, right? We were too far committed, so either we should have backed up sooner, or we wanted to let them kill us sooner.
Yeah.
Which we will talk more about after the game is done, additionally.
He picked a health pack.
Thank you. My ultimate's ready. Easy.
Oh, Rip.
Okay. Cover, definitely overstayed our welcome again. We will 100% be talking about that after we're done, so that we can get you out of that habit.
Dead eyes ready. Wanted. Dead or alive.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Oh, Bob.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Oh, Rip.
Alright, so let's discuss some stuff. Don't queue up, because I think that this may be enough to, and then if we need a little bit of extra time on it, we can always go to the replay, but I think we have enough to cover here until we get to the end. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go over a bunch of different things. I just remember that I have to stream. Alright, I'm streaming, so let's talk on a bunch of different points. So
It's loading.
Justice
The
ain't
stream?
gonna dispense
Yeah, the
itself.
stream is loading. Try stream again. Still not working. Let me try leave.
Oh,
There we go.
you can see it now?
Yeah, it's working now.
Okay, glad to hear it. So, Flashbang, lot of minor things here, but also a lot of bigger things, okay? Flashbang, couple things. Firstly, know that your range on Flashbang is 10 meters. Because we can flash from here. Actually, it might be 11 meters if I'm not mistaken on that. Something along those lines. And then once we get outside of that range, then it's not going to do any effectivity. Yeah, so it's 10 meters exactly, right? You actually tend to think that it's closer than it is, because there's a lot of times where people step within 10 meters and we don't go for the flash. Particularly note that you can flash from high grounds, because they're still within 10 meters of you when you're up on a high ground. So like, let's note, for example, this bot down here. Let's see if we can flash this guy, right? No, actually, that's right out of range. But there's a lot of times, for example, where somebody will be like right below you, so like right here, and that will 100% be within your 10-meter flash radius, flash range, and we won't go for it because we think it's out of range. So pretty much anytime someone steps within your flashbang range, you want to be flashing them, right? And I think that you think it's a little bit closer than it actually is. Additionally, when you do go for flashes, if you are right up on top of somebody, in a lot of cases you do not want to flash straight forwards, because if you do not hit them directly, then it goes sailing past and you miss. right? And then it doesn't do anything because it just goes past the character. So what you want to do instead is flash the ground, because that means that no matter what, you flash the person, right? It's not going to go sailing
Rest in
past into
peace.
nothingness. So when
Yeah, I
you're on
do
top
that in the McCree one-shot game mode sometimes, actually,
yeah,
and it
so
works.
Yep. So just anytime somebody's on top of you, there were a couple. There's one time in that last game that I saw that we didn't do it, and then we ended up flashing past somebody. I think it was like past McCree or something like that. Right.
Double kill.
Yeah.
Okay. So additionally, flicking is necessary in some situations and not necessary in others. There is very basically flicking is needed when your crosshair needs to travel somewhere very very fast, which is pretty much just the definition of flicking, right?
Double
Yeah.
Your crosshair needs to travel somewhere very very fast. If, for example, there's a tracer blinking around us, or sorry, just a fast moving target more I guess is a better word for that, right? So a fast moving target, like a tracer who's blinking around us, right? We have to flick to keep up with the tracer, right? You also need to flick if somebody sneaks up behind you, right? So if someone sneaks up behind you, flick around really quickly, go for the kill. If somebody just appears on your screen, so we're aiming down here, all of a sudden someone pops up top right, we're gonna need to flick up to acquire a new target. So then we can, but once we're on the target, right, and that's the point here, is once we're on the target, we no longer want to be flicking. If you're already aiming in the general direction of somebody, there's no reason to go for flicks, because then you kind of just throw off your aim with every shot, right? You're resetting every single shot, right? Which is what we ended up doing a lot on McCree, was we would kind of flick when we didn't need to, and we'd end up kind of doing something like this, and then that just means that we're resetting our aim every single time instead of just making our shots easier to hit by being closer to them.
Yeah.
So flick when necessary, don't flick when not necessary. Really is what I'm getting at there.
All in a day's
Moving
No
on.
stopping me.
Did we talk about your sensitivity last time at all?
We didn't actually.
Double kill.
But I've been playing on a very much lower sense than I have
Double kill.
last time, I think.
Do you what is your current sensitivity and DPI at?
It's 800 DPI, and the sensitivity is 3.96,
Oh,
so
so-
4.
So that actually is a very low sensitivity. So that sounds very fine to me. That might do make sure that you have enough mobility to make one full 360 with your mouse pad. So that might be a little bit low. So for let me give you a demonstration here. You want to take your mouse, put it on the full left side of your mouse space, drag it all the way to the right side of your mouse space, and that should be one full 360 or a little bit above it, because that means that from the middle where you're usually starting, you're able to do a 180 either side you're turning, right? So that's why you want to have that much turning room. It's going to make your turning easier than having to pick up your mouse and move it around. So it just means that you have proper mobility, or sorry, like proper camera mobility. So that I'd usually say that's a good minimum to be having. But besides that, not a big deal if you do not. I mean, yeah, like besides that, that sounds like a very good low sensitivity to have, which just means that when you do flick, it's very
Just a
intentional.
matter of
When if you have a very high sensitivity, then flicking can kind of be involuntary, but with a low sensitivity like that, it's very intentional how you're flicking. So make sure that you are not doing that when it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So moving on, kill feed watching, right? How to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight. This mainly comes down to kill feed, right? When you are up or
Rest
down
in peace.
1 to 2 people, that is a won or a loss. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead there. Sorry, 1 to 2 is an advantage or
Keep 'em
disadvantage.
coming.
2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. Now I want you to think about those numbers, because very often when I ask people when they come back for
Rest
additional
in
sessions, they
peace.
forget those pretty much between the sessions. So they'll go, yeah, I get it, you watch kill feed, but then what are those again, right? So keep your, I guess, just remember those numbers in specific, right? 1 to 2, 2 to 3. And when you've won the fight, you get extra aggressive. When you've lost the fight, you get out if you can, or if you cannot, you let them kill you.
Whoa there.
besides that, are you familiar with the term staggering?
I'm staggering. What's that?
Yeah, so staggering is pretty much any time you die late. Which is, we did that like 3 or 4 of the fights that last game that we were in.
All in a
When
day's
you
work.
die late, that's a big problem because now your team has 2 decisions. They're coming out before you, they're walking back, and either one, they wait for you, in which case you've just
I'm on a
wasted a bunch
roll.
of time because now that you're waiting for the next fight to begin. Or they could walk in without you and be at a
Never much
disadvantage
like
in the
you.
fight. Or potentially even if multiple people are staggering, they could be walking into a lost fight. That can also start stagger trains, where let's say you die, and then a teammate walks out in the front, and then they die. So you both have staggered, and then your teammates just keep doing it, walking in 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, and just dying over and over and over again in a loop, right? That's called stagger training, and that additionally is going to not be very good because you're just wasting a ton of time. So we did that a lot that last game, and you want to make sure you're not staggering. That way you're actually able to participate and go and play with full team fights. So make sure you're watching Kill Feed. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else we can go over. Now,
Never had a
I guess let's
chance.
go in depth on that because we have the time, I guess. So note that 2 is the middleman, right? 2 is in the middle. It goes 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3 because 2 can be a 1 or a sorry, it could be a won or lost fight or an advantage or disadvantage, right? It's right in the middle of the 2. How you tell that is
Bang.
based off of all of the other things that go into whether or not you're winning or losing. All of the other advantages and disadvantages. Things such as which team has better positioning, more health, closer spawns, has and or is using more abilities, more ultimates, right? So basically which team has all these other things.
Payment required.
So
This one's
let
on the
me give you an
house.
example. You could be up 2 people, right? Your team is up 2 people, but your whole team is also 1 HP. Okay, well now if your whole team is 1 HP, then it's still winnable for their team, right? But if you're up 2 people and they have no additional
slow.
advantage to pull the fight back with, then that's just a flat up 1 fight, right? Because
Yeah.
they have no other advantage to pull it around with.
Double kill.
So does that whole concept make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Double
Okay,
kill.
glad to hear it. Let me think if I can think of any other things that we're going to talk about. Last time, did we go in depth on positioning at all?
Happy trail.
Double
Yeah, to flanking and high ground and stuff like that.
Okay, did we talk about general positioning with cover usage?
double kill.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's cover that real quick. Because that came up a couple times. So, if I am standing right here, and the enemy team is standing right there, it takes me, they all start shooting at me, you know, 10 people are shooting at me, whatever. It takes me 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind the corner. Now,
Yeah.
in that time, I ended up dying because it took way too long. But from here, I am safe. You cannot shoot through solid objects. Now, if I were to stand here, now I can get around the corner in half of a second, which is 6 times faster than what it took me previously. So, therefore, good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. And there's cover all over the place. I have something like that. I have slopes. I have pillars in between shots, right? It's called like jiggle peeking, right? When I'm reloading, when I'm taking damage, I have corners. Okay, I have random objects that are sitting around. Okay, I have pillar and corner and doorway and corner, right? A lot of different things to work with. Additionally, on high grounds, I think we went over high grounds last time, but when you are on a high ground, to make sure you're being careful about how you're using it, because there's bad ways to use high ground and good ways to use high grounds. If I am standing right here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people can see me, how many people can I shoot at once?
You can shoot at one, so you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, so I'm having 5 people shoot at me when I can only shoot at 1 person. So what I can do is back up away from the ledge, crouch. Now only 2 people can see me. Use that wall, go for a kill. Okay, and now I can
No
uncrouch
payment
and go for the
required.
2nd kill,
This
and then I
one's
can
on
move
the
on and go
house.
for the 3rd kill, etc. Okay, so keep your eye on that as well as how you're actually using the high ground. So does that those concepts make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. We're gonna hop into the stuff in a second. Let's see. I had one more thing. Okay, high noon usage. You have when you're high nooning,
Never had a
you want to make
chance.
sure a couple things, right? Firstly, when you're high nooning, make sure that there's actually people to high noon at, right? Because if there's nobody high noon at, then your high noon is worthless. It's not going to do anything. So, for
Yeah,
example,
just something. Some friend told me that if you are trying to cap a point, maybe the last point or defend or whatever, it's the last time, so you don't really have any other use for the high noon. It's really good to just see everything of the point. For example, a high ground, or just stand
Happy trail.
somewhere that you can see the whole point. And then you high noon,
Double kill.
and everybody is going to hear that and therefore be scared to go in front of it. And then it just makes you win the last part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's called a zoning ultimate. So you can do that anytime you are trying to
No payment
get
required.
them to not
This
touch
one's on the
points. So if
house.
you're about to, like, let's say you're 2 seconds away from capping, if you ultimate on, like, covering the whole point, then they either A, have to go and touch and then die, or B, don't touch and then you cap point, right? Either or is a win-win. Right,
Yeah.
so yes. So when high nooning, make sure you
You
actually have
gotta
people to
work
shoot
on
at.
that
A couple
aim.
times when we had high noon, we didn't really have anybody to shoot at, and we let them walk into our ultimate, and then they did that because they're stupid. But they're not always going to do that, right? So when you're high nooning, make sure people are actually out in the open. So don't do it when they're right here next to cover. Do it when they have an absence of cover, right? Where they don't have anywhere to run, because cover is the bane of high noon's existence, right? Let them walk out into the open. So here, it'd be better if their whole team is right here where we can high noon them, and they try to run away, and then they can't, right? But if they're all over here where they have cover, then they can just get around the corner super easily. Now, you also want to be able to stay alive when you're high nooning, right? I think you got the idea, but you were a little bit narrow-minded, where you were thinking of it, like, you were on the high ground, you're thinking, okay, I can only high noon if I get a shield, right? Where you really have kind of 3 different ways that you can high noon. To survive. You can high noon if you have sufficient protection, so that would be shields, tanking, people body blocking for you, tanking abilities, etc. Right? Those things can do it. Usually that's low risk, but also low reward, since typically you end up most of the time when you do that, that means that you're going to be doing it from the main angle where you end up shooting into shields and stuff like that. So it's usually low risk, low reward.
You need
Then you have
it.
off angling and flanking with your ultimate, which you just said we went over that last time, right? Those usually are medium risk and then kind of usually more high reward. So those usually are going to be pretty decent options, but it really depends on the situation. And then finally, you have high nooning from super far away, because if we high noon from all the way back here, unless they have a sniper or something, they're not going to be able to contest us or damage us in time before we kill them,
Work on
right?
that aim.
So those are different options. All right. We are actually gonna, we're running a little bit behind, but it doesn't matter because we have the playtime afterwards anyways. But we're now going to do a review, go over the main points, and then wrap up from there. So, let's see. Ability usage, flashbang, we talked about a bunch of things. Close, when you're close to somebody, flashbang the floor.
Easy.
Oh, I didn't actually talk
Rest
about
in
left click.
peace.
There's so much stuff, man. we'll skip over that for now. But
Keep 'em
no,
coming.
if you want more, you grab more right after we're done, and then we can go over more things. So I just recalled something else we didn't go over.
Smart.
But
don't
yeah, in any case, also note it's 10-meter radius, and go for it more often. We didn't use it as often as we could have, right? There were
All in a day's
note that you can
work.
use it from high grounds, like just flashing down below on people. Roll, use it much more often. We're using it about like a third of the time that we actually could be. We're barely ever using it. So remember, you can use it to reload. So I'm just going pew, pew, shoot, shoot, bang, bang,
I'm
bang,
on
bang. We're
roll.
gonna have ammo, bang, bang, bang. It can keep going, right?
All in a day's work.
Use it for mobility. Use it to get to high grounds. Use it to use it as dodging, right? When you're dodging damage, use it to get the cover sooner and faster. Also note the air roll tech, right? Overall, ability usage probably around like a medium, just because I don't think we're utilizing it as much as we could. Ultimate usage, make sure that you're thinking through. We just pretty much just covered everything with that, right? Right there. Make sure you're not ulting into a Bob or something like that, right? Don't ult when there's a Widowmaker staring at your head. And then everything we just covered. Overall, probably, I don't know, I'd say lower end of medium priority for you to work on for both of them, right?
All in
For
a
ability
day's
usage and ult usage. Mechanics, don't randomly flick if you don't need to, right? Flick when it's necessary. Crosshair placement, especially make sure you're aiming head level, or a lot of times we're just walking around aiming down here, and you don't hit a lot of headshots usually. Pre-aim where you know they're going to be as well. Besides that, let's see, is there anything else? I'm not recalling anything else that we talked about with mechanics. So, oh, and then we talked about maybe like warm up and tried free for all, but that was about it. Overall, between probably
Call that a fair
low
fight.
end of medium again, somewhere around that. Right, really, they're all kind of stacking up there. Then moving on to your positioning. Make sure you're continuing to take off angles and high grounds and use high grounds effectively, right? Like, make sure you're not standing on the edge where we're using the cover on high grounds. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. And then overall, that's pretty much it. That one probably goes to like a... bro. Trying to think. Higher end of a low to medium. Somewhere like that. And then finally you have awareness. Pay attention to your health bar and what's happening with your team, what's enemy health bars like, so that we know when to finish targets. Make sure that you are paying attention to just your general surroundings, audio awareness, etc. Kill feed, we just talked about all the things in kill feed. Right, make sure you're really respecting that. Overall, that probably went to like a medium or so. And then finally, Soldier, I forgot to talk about his stuff. Visor, no issues. Sprint, fine. Helix, fine. Health pack, make sure you're not randomly dropping it for no reason. Usually you use it after you've taken damage, except for there's exceptions to that. And then use it a little bit more selfishly, really only using it for your team if they really need it. And then that is about it. So to put that all in order, really do note that it's all very similar. It's all right around the middle. That's not a bad thing. That just means that you need to work on a little bit of everything, rather than being absolutely terrible at one thing and really fantastic at the other. Just means that there's a lot of odds and ends everywhere that if you really iron out, that you'll become a lot more consistent and efficient.
Should have kept your head
So top one was awareness. Then after that, after awareness probably came mechanics. Then tying ability usage and ultimate usage. And then finally at the bottom was going to be in slot number 4 is your positioning. So yeah, like I said, all of that is very close. That's just an order so you know which ones to work on first. Even though really you could just probably work on any of them in whichever order and you'd pretty much be getting a very similar result. Because like I said, it's just around the middle. It's not a bad thing. That might change in the future as you get better or worse at things, as you get punished, as you rank up, etc. That might change around. Do you have any questions?
I don't think I have any at the moment, actually.
Okay. Do you care at all? I guess, like, do you want the playtime recorded, or do you not really mind?
Playtime recorded. What do you mean?
Good. Well, I'm recording the session currently. Do you want the playtime that we're about to do right now? Do you want that recorded as well?
No.
No? Okay. Then